In this video we have issue 36 of Hachette Partworks Spitfire and we're connecting the landing gear, so stay tuned. Yes guys, welcome back to the Yorkshire Modeller. With this one we are doing the landing gear connections, so we get... there's a few little clear parts there. There's a cable, a cog, and then quite a few different screws as well. So I've got everything set up here. I'm just going to separate these screws out because it looks like there's some that have got rounded heads and some that have got countersunk. So just keeping everything there to one side. There we go. So with this one, we need to fit the shaft of the end of the motor, 35.1. So obviously the motor that we built with the last issue, into the hole in the motor casing as indicated. Note the orientation of the motor. So this is the first part that we're going to be using. So if I just show you on this camera here, so it's the square boxy one, and the motor's going in there. Now you need to make sure that you get this the right way round. So I'm thinking that it's that way. So what you've got to do, where you've got the kind of connection at the top there, there's like this flat bit all the way around here. When you're attaching this, it has to go that way round. So the cable has to be on the lower end of the circuit board for the motor, and that has to be pointing towards this flat little bit here, just to make sure everything connects properly. Now, turn the assembly over, keeping the motor in position, fix in place with 2 KM screws as indicated. Now, the KM screws, I believe, are the ones that have the countersunk heads. KM, 3 KM screws, yes they are, lovely. So, keeping that in that position, the screw holes should line up inside, which they do, and then all you do is get these screws here. Now you only need 2 of these, same as previous issues, you've only needed 2 screws for attaching motors, so I'll get that one screwed on there. That's one. And then just do the same with the other one as well. And get those nice and snug. There we are. So they're all attached there. So that's that bit done. Put that to one side just for the moment. Now, take the landing gear connecting cable, which is this tiny little thing just here, and fit it in the slots in the cog part 36.4. Now part 36.4 is, whoops, this one just here, this little tiny cog. So this has got 2 little kind of slots in it. I don't know whether you can clearly see those. There you are. So this cable just goes straight into those slots. Whoops, just like that, he says. Try and balance that in there. And the cap 36.3 fits onto the cog section 36.4. Hold the cable in place. There's no need to apply any glue. The cap will be held in place when positioned in the casing. Do not apply any glue to the cable, otherwise it won't work. So luckily that all just lines up properly like that, and then you can just push that in so that cable can still, you know, freely move around in there. So take the shaft and cog, which are this one just here. I'll show you on this camera as well. Now this part did come in a little bag that was wrapped up and wrapped in tape to keep it nice and condensed, so nothing slipped out, because this looks like it's got oil or some kind of lubrication on it. Fit the shaft and cog over the end of the shaft of the motor, which is this one just here. That's it. The flattened sides of the shaft of the motor should be aligned with a shaped hole in the end. So that will just sit in there just like that when everything's obviously lined up properly. I'm going to turn this around this way because I'm going to do this exactly the same as the instructions say. Move that one screw out of the way because we won't need that one again. Take the cog and cable assembly from step 4. Fit the pegs on the end of the part 36.4 and 36.3 into the recess in the casing, which is that little bit. See if I can show you on this one just here. That little recess just inside there. So if I make sure I've got this the right way around. Yeah, Yep, so that goes in there like that. Like, oops, not like that. Basically, the cogs need to line up with the cogs need to line up, the kind of teeth on these cogs need to line up with the kind of groove in there. So there is two like that. That's it. He says. Not quite fitting in there properly. There we go. That's better. Right. So that's in there like that. There's on the end of the cog. There's two little kind of pegs that stick out either side. Those just sit into a couple of little grooves on there. Now then. That's all attached. So fit the gear casing 36.1 over the gear assembly. The shaft of the cog fits into the hole in the casing circled in blue. So that's the hole that the cog will fit through just there. And it's this cog just there. That bit that looks black on the camera. So that will fit in there like that. That will fit in nicely like that. Fix the two gear casings together with 4 PB screws. So 4 of these little black ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll just speed this bit up for you guys. There we go. So that's that bit done. So that's step 8. Step 9, we're actually attaching this onto the Spitfire itself. So I'm going to move some of these bits around because I'm going to need to bring this bit up. It's like a Blue Peter, this, isn't it? Here's one I made earlier. So now then, I'm going to try and get this just lined up on camera so you guys can see what I'm doing with this bit. So now, take the engine and wing assembly on the stand from issue 34. Fit the gear casing and motor assembly centrally so that the 4 socket arms on the parts from part 36.1 fit over the raised screw sockets on part 23.1 and 25.1. So that would be just here. So there's 2 either side of this kind of thingy part here that you screw the actual the engine and all that onto the wings. Either side of that there are 4 little pegs, and it looks like that just lines up kind of on top of there, like just like that. Take the wing assembly. Fix the casing in place with 4 more PB screws. So again, these are the black ones. Right, so that's the motor in there, so you can see it just there. In the next 2 steps, the landing gear connecting cable is fitted. This is a tight fit. Temporarily raise the left wheel assembly so that the slightly longer end of the cable is available when fitting in the end of part 29.4. So luckily, all this stuff in here is colour coded. So obviously, that's all the side that's got the daytime camouflage. This side has all got the nighttime camouflage. So that really does help with these next steps because all the pictures are also colour coded, so we can do it in order. So, identify the landing gear attachment 27.4. So 27.4 is this one just in here. It's kind of out of your camera view, but it's where you've got the spring. So there's the spring that will spring the landing gear back down, and there's a little screw next to that. So, now we need these PM screws. Identify the landing gear attachment to the left wing. Slip the end of the landing gear connecting cable, 36.6 between the jaws of... Right, I'm going to have to swing this around now because I need to be able to see what I'm doing here. So, right. This bit's going to be fiddly, isn't it? So, need tweezers for this bit. So slip the end of the landing gear connecting cable, 36.6, between the jaws of part 27.4 in the picture. You may find it helpful to use tweezers. Fit a PM 1.6 by 3mm screw through the holes in part 27.4 to hold the cable in place. So what we're doing here is this cable will bend, thank God, and there's a little kind of gold thing on the end of it. So what I'm going to do, it moves a lot as well, this bit, so this could potentially be quite a difficult thing to attach. So yeah, I'm going to do this as quick as I can. I'm going to move the microphone out of the way, and I'm just going to do this as quietly as I can, just trying to get this looped in before I put the screw in. I will show it you once it's done, and we'll just go from there. So, wish me luck. Well, that was really painful. So as you guys could see there, I had to use a pair of tweezers to get it into the little slot. There we go. I had to use a pair of tweezers to actually get the part into the slot it needed to be in. Then I had to use like a pair of pliers to get it to sit in there properly, so that I could use. I'm going to slacken this off a bit because I think I've done too much under there. So basically, it's take your time. So what I had to do, the little part that it has to slot into sits like that, and the cable has to go into it like that. But the problem is, because the cable's got quite a lot of spring to it and a lot of bounce, it just kept pinging out, so I had to use a pair of tweezers to get it into the right position, and then I had to bend it round with basically a mini pair of pliers. Now this side's going to be even more interesting because I'm right-handed, so the left side on this was easy because I could hold it in properly. This is going to be difficult. Ooh. Right, I've got a box from a webcam that I bought recently for YouTube, where I can put the landing gear up and I can bend this in the right way and then screw it in from the side, rather than trying to do it the way I've been doing it for the last 10 minutes. So, if you look at what I've done here, this box here is that webcam box. What I've done is I've used that to hold this wheel, this landing gear up. What that's done is it's moved that bit that I need to put this cable into straight up. So what I'm going to try and do now is bend that round and fit it into there, like that. Then, now that I've got that in there like that, I can hold that in place with these pliers, even with my fingers, like that. Then move that up like that, then hopefully that cable is still in the right place. All I need to do is grab it, hook it around a little bit more, and then I can screw that in like that. That was in as well. Always keep your rubbish boxes. Anyway, that's that done. So that cable was pretty difficult to attach, actually. It has to go onto both of the landing gears, obviously. It was actually easier doing it that way. So if you can find something that can hold whichever landing gear you're actually putting onto the model, whatever you're attaching that cable to, if you can find a way of getting that that wheel to stay up, slot the cable into where you need to slot it into, and then just let it go gently, hold it with a pair of tweezers, and then screw it, makes it a lot easier. So that is the landing gear motor attached. Obviously we've got the cable just there. Everything else is attached on that one. Now there is a big thing here that says do not be tempted to test the motor at this stage, as you could damage the connecting cable. It's like they knew that that's what I wanted to do. The motor cap and cogs connecting the cable for the landing gear have all been fitted to the wing assembly. So that's it for issue 36. Slightly longer video this one. It's quite nice that we've got a bit of a longer video. With issue 37 we get the upper and lower panels for the first aileron together with hinges and screws. So that is just there. So that video will be up very shortly. Please remember to like, share and subscribe to The Yorkshire Modeller for more weekly model building geekiness, and I'll see you in the next video for issue 37 of the Spitfire very soon. So until then guys, please remember, happy modelling and stay safe.